I'm interpreting the Quran based upon the verses that are in the Quran that has to do with modern, science. Because people never knew that whatever scientists are talking about today has been explained in the Quran. Whatever, if I say whatever, everything. It has been explained long time ago, but nobody touches that. It is based upon the empirical research that you do to understand what that is.
You are watching the biggest, the largest, the highest, the greatest, the tallest, and the mightiest world platform. We are the mother of all spiritual platform. I'm always Queen Hadasha. Today we are going to the mosque, so you can call me Hawa. So you know that name, Dada. I welcome you people with a lot of love. For love, I have enough because you give me enough. Inti warehouse hono, odo ashe hono mama. I believe God is love. So love is very, very important to all of us. So I send you love and I receive your love and I welcome you with lots of love. I am your greatest G, your annoying host. It's another episode. We are discussing Islam and modern science. That's what we are going to discuss today. We have one of our fathers on set who is going to take us through this kind of topic. So let's welcome him first, know who he is, and then we will see what happens here. Papa, we welcome you to Revelations.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Great. Today is your first time on this biggest platform, so please kindly pay obeisance to the followers, greet them, introduce yourself to us, and if there are any loved ones you want to send love to, is equally allowed.
Okay, thank you very much for having me here. My name is Mohammed AWAL, but they call me Sheikh, which is the title of scholarship. I live in the United States. I have my institution based in Seattle, Washington. I have branches in Guyana, New York, Atlanta, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone, and I also have one here in Ghana. But I was born and raised in Cape Coast, so I'm a Cape Coastian, and I'm Hausa and Fulani at the same time. So greetings to you. This is the first time I've been here, and I know and believe that it's going to be very entertaining. And thank you so very much for having me. And definitely, it's going to be nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish you all the best.
Great. We welcome you to Revelations, and we appreciate you. Abusia, your guest in it for Enda is going to be great. I will do a few randoms with him as usual before we get into the topic, because we had to bond so we can have a great conversation. So Papa, you said you have branches. Branches of what? Okay,
what I do is this. I have an institution that I teach people how to present Islam in a modern setting, and so I have an I have a branch here in Cape Coast. I have a branch in Nigeria. In about 5 different countries I do have branches.
How to do what?
How to present Islam in the modern setting.
How to present Islam in a modern setting. How is that? Can you teach us?
What is it is that we live in a modern setting, so to speak. We are in the computerized age. We are in the age of technology, age of advancement. And a lot of people don't think Islam is very close to, advancement. They think Islam is just this and that. And so I use the Quran, I use the Bible, I use, the Upanishad, the Vedas, and I also use, empirical evidence from scientists to, present Islam as it is, based upon what the scientists have postulated recently, which has been explained in the Quran so many years ago, so many years ago, for those who don't think about that, to kind of understand and have a gist as to what Islam is all about.
You use Vedas. Make me understand it. Are you a Muslim?
1000%.
You are Muslim?
Yes, ma'am.
Which type of Muslim are you?
I believe in the revelation that was given to Muhammad, which is the Quran, and his interpretation of the Quran. So, basically I'm just a nominal Muslim who believe in what Muhammad brought. I don't actually have a sect. I understand there's a lot of, division, this and that, but I don't want to put myself in that level. I believe in what the messenger said and the Quran. That's it.
So what brought about the sect?
The sect, even in all religion, there are sects, and somehow is the understanding of the scripture or the books. You might look at it differently and interpret it differently, and the other group say, no, I don't think so, it's got to be this. And so these are some of the division, but otherwise the central theme and the belief system is actually one in all religions. It's the same. But then again, we have differences in understanding and how it should be presented, this and that, so it becomes a sect. But then again, if you look at the basis of it all, it's all the same.
So if I should understand you, you are trying to modernize Islam. Is that correct?
Not really.
But because you said you have branches that you are adding, like maybe we are in a computerizing way, what? So what are you not modernizing Islam? No. I'm interpreting the Quran based upon the verses that are in the Quran that has to do with modern, science. Because people never knew that whatever scientists are talking about today has been explained in the Quran. Whatever, if I say whatever, everything. It has been explained long time ago, but nobody touches that. It is based upon the empirical research that you do to understand what that is. Then people like me bring it out and explain it. People go, really? It's in the Quran? And they check it out and say, of course, it is in there. How did that get to be in there? So what was preventing them from seeing it?
Well, it's all about research. Research is very key, and that is what the Quran have said. For example, in the Quran, somewhere the verse said, أَفَلَا تَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ. Don't you analyze the Quran with care? Don't you check it out? Had it been it came from someone, not God Almighty, there would be a lot of contradiction in it. So, أَفَلَا, don't you check it out? Don't you analyze it? That means it goes beyond just physical looking and reading. You have to think and go deep into thinking. And so that is what my institution and many other people are doing today to bring Islam at par with modernity.
And so you are modernizing it?
No. I'm not modernizing. If I modernize it, I'm going to change certain things within Islam. The belief system, I'm going to change it to make it fit modernity. No, I'm using the Quranic word without turning it, without twisting it, present it, which many people don't know. It's, correlation with science. So I use that to bring it up. And so they would understand, so, okay, this Quran also...
So people were practicing it without knowing what you are teaching now?
No, it's not like that. Again, we have laymen, those who study the Quran, but they didn't go deep into it. And each and every generation have their understanding about the Quran. As I'm speaking like this, in 50, 20 years ago, the same Quran is going to twist itself, turn itself to fit in the time that it is.
That is what we call modernization. And you have said you are not modernizing it.
You can modernize the Quran. It has been there. Nobody can change it. It's just that it has to be interpreted to fit the time that we live in. Any time,
any era, no interpretation must change.
The same word.
The same word, but as I say, to be interpreted and fit that era.
Yes,
we keep changing.
Without changing the actual meaning. Without changing the text itself.
Okay, I'm coming. Let's use this simple thing to get to. I want to understand you.
I get you.
So let's use this.
Right.
Allahu Akbar. How would you interpret it to fit this era? Can there be any interpretation?
There are certain words in the Quran that is across the board. You can interpret it anyhow. It means God is the greatest. Simple as that. But then again, you have to explain, what do you mean by God is the greatest? He's great because of this and that and this and that. And you begin to explain. Because many people think God is great, which they believe. But why is he great? That is when the sharp man comes into it. You have to bring a lot of analysis, a lot of presentation to make them really understand, of course, God is great because of this and that and this and that.
So is the accolades we are adding? Is
sort
that
of,
it?
Absolutely. Sort of like that. Yes, ma'am.
Sandy and no lie. If we are adding accolades, my name keeps changing. They keep adding more.
They keep adding something in it, right?
So if that's the case, then it's not anything serious.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you to. I could see you are well endowed in the Quran or in what you do, based on the little conversation I've had with you right now. Can you tell us the source of Islam? Like, give us the history of Islam and the people, the tribe that owns the origin or the principles. Okay,
one word or two words actually in the Quran where Allah said, I'm going to read in Arabic and then I'm going to give it, it's just brief. Where Allah said, وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا. To each and every nation from the creation of the world, we have sent a messenger. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا خَلَا فِيهَا نَذِيرٌ. There is not a community on the face of the earth, but a warner have passed through them. So from this angle, we begin to understand that, okay, we have Moses, Isaiah, Jeremiah, John the Baptist, Habakkuk, Jesus, Nathan. They were messengers sent by God. But the laws may not be the same. But the basic structure is the same. Believe in one God and shun from any abomination. And believe in the person that brought the revelation. That is basics. But then again, each and every messenger or a prophet was given certain, practice that he does. That is not going to go against the belief system. So that is Islam actually didn't start with Muhammad, as people think. Absolutely not. Islam started with Adam alayhi salam, Prophet Adam. He's the messenger of God at the beginning, which we believe, and the end of them all is Muhammad. So it's like you building a house. There are those who will dig the trench and set up the foundation. Those who will put the blocks inside, and then eventually they will leave, and the carpenters will come, and on up till the end. Somebody will come and paint it, and somebody will inhabit that house. And that is how the prophet and messengers did. And the culmination, the end line of them is Muhammad. He came as the last messenger of God, as the last prophet of God. And the Quran have given us to understand that there will be no book from heaven be given after the 3 books that was given, the Torah or the Tanakh or the Pentateuch or the book of Moses. And then we have the Injil or the Evangel or the good news belonging to Jesus. And then the Quran, which is a recital. So these 3 books are the last books given. And the Quran is the last of them all. And so Islam completed by Muhammad, but he didn't start it from the beginning.
Any reason he doesn't want to bring any book and any prophet again? Any reason why?
The wisdom of God is beyond you and I quantification. You might ask this question, but the wisdom of God dictates that.
That is my problem. Oh.
And so you
come and tell me things, and God doesn't want me to understand why he decided not to bring anybody again apart from Muhammad, and people are still sleeping with their wives and giving birth.
But there are more questions than answers. There are more questions than answers.
Why is it so?
It is just a natural, phenomenon of life.
Media in person.
I can see that.
You are watching the bigger. I want to understand things.
I see what you mean.
When I ask questions and I get to a point where I don't get the answers, then I get frustrated.
Oh.
Papa, since you said there are more questions than answers, where are the questions? Where are the answers? Any questions you have an answer.
Yes.
What is your name? My name is Grace. What are you doing here? I am hosting a show. What is it about? It's about consciousness. Maame Grace, what is the time duration? I don't know. It's more question. It doesn't make sense to me. My problem.
Can God come here right now and sit down with us? It's a question. He could do it, but he's not going to do that. Because it's against his attribute.
He's not with us.
He's not going to manifest and just come and sit. Okay, Maame Grace or Muhammad, just have a look at me. It's not possible.
You give us book. Come and sit here with us. You say, how?
You send messengers and teachers, those who.
And now he doesn't want to send any messenger apart from Muhammad, who is dead.
No, all the books were given. The books that
why? People's time, you gave them prophets and they brought books. Our time, you give us paper. Our brain is static in the paper. How? This one, how? Anyway, let's leave that one. You've made your point clear that questions are more than the answers. Wherever the answers are, I'm looking for it.
Yeah, we'll see it.
If you see Muhammad, tell him. I said I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Tell him, Maame Grace. Now, let me ask my last question, then we get into this. So, the origin of Islam is not coming from a particular tribe.
No.
It's coming from Adam.
It just happened.
So how come we are using Arabic language for God? Is there any reason?
Yes. Like from my quotation that I quoted earlier, I said there is not a single community except a prophet or a messenger have passed through them. And then there's another verse in the Quran which also said we definitely did not send a messenger or prophet until with the language of his own community. Because first of all, the immediate audience are his own people. So it makes a lot of sense, and it's logic for God Almighty to send the prophet with the prophet and the community, because they are the one that will take it to the next level. Like, for example, Torah was given in a Hebrew. The Hebrew is the northern Hebrew, the Maccabees, and then the southern one, the Judean Peninsula. Moses coming from the Judean Peninsula, his Hebrew is different with those, with the Maccabees. So he called his God Eleh, and some call it Eleh, some call it El, some call it Ileh, some call it Elohim. So you see the differences, and then Muhammad came.
It's the prophet, because since he is the last one,
right,
his language is the one we are using.
It's the language.
It makes a lot of
the Quranic
sense.
language. Yes.
But let me ask this last one, then we go.
Okay.
We all know that the greatest event ever that has taken place in this universe is slave trade.
Right.
That's the greatest event that we can never stop talking about.
Yes, we can.
And we know it started from these Arabs,
right,
to Greeks, to these Europeans, and blah, 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 till now. I know you endowed.
Right.
So when you look into African history,
yes, ma'am,
you know the things these Arabs put Africans through.
Right.
The things.
Right.
They came to buy spices.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the things Africans went through in their hands. I think when you compare with the Greeks and everybody that has ever visited Africa, their own is abominable than all of them.
Yes.
Its history is there. It's not me that is saying it. So when they bring, the religion, they didn't bring it, you've made it clear.
Right.
But when we worship the God that created us before Muhammad, because he created human beings before Muhammad.
Absolutely.
If we should worship God in their language, and we should dress the way they dress, because we have to worship God. That is why we are here for. When you are worshiping God in their language, wearing their clothes, and you cast your mind back, because you can't throw history away, and you look at what they place or what they put Africans through, how do you feel as a black man?
Okay, first of all, Mami Grace, looking back into history, the slavery actually started with we, the Africans ourselves, before the Arabs even came to play. We were selling each other. We used each other for agriculture purposes. We used each other to bolster our economy. So a lot of the kings at that time, they married a lot so that they could get a lot of children, they could farm for them and stuff like that. And so the Arabs started coming from transatlantic slavery, coming from the northern part of Africa, from the Arabia, all the way down into, the then Ghana Empire, Mali Empire, Songhai Empire. And they begin to see, it's easy. Economically, they could use, this is before Islam. This is way, way, way before Islam. At that time, we called those era in Islam Jahiliyyah. Jahiliyyah is the age of ignorance. And the Arabs were the most ignorant people on the face of the earth. That is why if you look at the history of Islam, you could see what they did to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so they were one of the, I don't even have a word to qualify them for what they did. So we understand pages of history bear record to the fact that they did a very, something that you can't even mention when it comes to slavery. But then again, we started, and then our kings and whatever we call them, they gave the support, and on and on and on. The Europeans came, the Portuguese came to Elmina, which is where I'm from, Cape Coast. So eventually, they saw that, okay, these guys are already into slavery, and we could use it. So they used it, and we supported them. We gave them whatever tool they need to do the slavery. So actually, each and every one of them play a major role. And today, if you go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in United States, which I lived there for like 6 weeks. I was teaching there for like 6 weeks, and I was taken to the transatlantic, coastal area. What happened? Man, if you look at what they did to the black people, but we opened the door. They didn't just come and take them. We opened the door. We gave them, reason to do all these things. But then again, we didn't think that it's going to be this worse. But so we can't blame one particular, I'm not going to say, okay, I'm going to demonize the Europeans, and then I'm going to, not belittle the Arabs. No, I'm not going to do that. They both play a role that is against humanity. If God should come down here, I think those who, indulge in slavery, they're going to be burned to ashes because of what they did to the black people. But then again, you have to look at the source of why did they do that. So, okay, they were all right. We encourage all these things for economical reasons. I'm
not even blaming anybody or looking at who started it. I'm just asking you how you feel.
Oh, I feel bad, Auntie Grace. Sometimes when I'm doing my research on that angle, I don't even want to read more, because the more I read, the more I get frustrated, the more my eyes almost tearing, and it's not good from both angles.
You've been honest. Do you think religion can liberate Africa?
If it is being, The religious aspect itself today are the ones that are actually causing a lot of, because people are using religion as a stepping stone to advance their agenda to get whatever they want. But if we should follow what the prophets and messengers taught us and applied it in our life, I think it will bring a lot of change. It will bring a lot of consciousness. But then again, we use it wrongly, and that is the result what we are seeing today. Both Islam and Christianity, they all have their shortcomings, you know.
If you should be given an opportunity to address their shortcomings, what would you tell them to take away, two from Islam and two from Christianity? Well,
you put me in a spot. Okay, since Christianity came first, maybe I would tell the missionaries to have, you know, to call a spade a spade. They didn't call a spade a spade.
Which is what?
Which is, when they first came, they make it sound Christianity is all rosy, it's heaven and earth and everything. But then again, at the backdrop, they were not giving the right perspective of what Jesus Christ actually taught, or the prophet. They changed certain aspect of it. They even said a black person coming from one of the children of Noah, Japheth, Sam, and one of the sons of Japheth actually had a son by the name Canaan, and he wronged his father, Noah, for drinking the wine, and eventually he was naked, and Japheth and the son of Ham
saw his nakedness and on and on.
And so when Noah came, his senses, he said, "Curse be upon Canaan and his children and children and children." And so that curse, the interpretation is that we turn into black people, which I don't believe, because if I read the book of Genesis clear. So
then
all these things
became black and ran into the bushes.
To be taken away. That's exactly what but that's the interpretation. I will tell them to actually tell them the truth. And then number two, I will also tell them, Christmas just passed, is coming again. Tell the people the truth. Christ did not know anything about Christianity, Christmas. And there's no title like Santa Claus, all this thing, the guy who came from the chimney brought all this candy, stuff like that. There's nothing like that. It is just something that they imagine and they put it into Christendom and on and on and on. And there is a lot of, because if you look at the book of, in the Bible somewhere, verse 10, chapter 10, verse 5, where it says, O Israel, do not follow the ways of the Gentiles and the heathen. For what they do is they go to the bush, cut down tree, bring it home, and deck it with gold and silver. It does not speak. It is a scary cat. O Israel, do not follow them, for these are the heathens. And today that's what we do. We go to the bush and bring down the tree and set it out with gold and diamond. The gods will say, Israel, don't follow them. These are heathen people doing this. For the Lord thy God is one. Him should you worship. So I would like for them not to have inserted certain things. Inserting certain things is to compromise our way of our religion that was brought by the prophet itself. So that's what I would tell them.
But two Christians,
then they are the Christians. I'm coming to me. Okay, so the Muslims, first of all, I would tell them not to look at everybody as, because some of the Muslims which I've been fighting, like you call these people kafir. Kafir, they say it with spite, like disbeliever, he's going to hell. How do you know? Does the hell belongs to you? It doesn't belong to you. God Almighty is the ultimate judge when it comes to going to hell or going to heaven. What shows that you praying 5 times a day, going to Mecca, doing all these things, behind closed door, who knows what you're doing? God knows. So the judgment actually comes from God eventually, not you. You can't put anybody. In fact, you have to preach to them. Tell them, stop this, stop that, stop this. That is even better than to, make those kind of mentioning like that.
That is one.
Which I definitely hate that a lot. I don't like that a lot. And number two, I would like that we learn a lot. Well, Muslims today, if anything is being mentioned about, not being educated, they don't go to school, blah, 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 blah. It's just the Muslim. Oh, look at Nima. Oh, look at Mamobi. Oh, look at here and there. Which is not true. Islam started with knowledge. The first revelation that came to Muhammad in the Mount of Light was, read, O Muslim. Read. Iqra. Bi-isma rabbika allazi khalaqa. Read, O Muhammad. And the messenger said, knowledge is the lost property of the believer. Go look for it, even if it's with the unbeliever, because you deserve it more than the unbeliever. Knowledge is power. He even said, go to China and seek knowledge. He said, if you're educating a woman, is the most part of beauty. Educated man, we use that all the time. So we don't do that. And I think we should step into the play of doing that. Allow the women to go to school. Let them be educated. Don't grab them at the age of 12 and start getting them married. And this is something that has been attributed to Islam, when in fact Islam did not teach that. It is a tradition that crept into the mainstream
Maybe
Islam.
they are following Muhammad. He married a 6-year-old child.
Okay, St. Augustine, St. Augustine, if you know the academia write-ups of the Greek papyri, St. Augustine married, 6-year-old.
You didn't bring that case into Christian issue.
No.
Now you are in your case.
No.
You are looking for something to banter.
But if you look at how Muhammad married Aisha at the age of 6, in Islam there is no age. Like, okay, she's 9 years old.
And so that's what they are doing, and you are complaining.
No, that is not the case. You have to look at the history. You have to look at the time and the location of that place. Back then, things like this, people, even the Makkans, they never say, Muhammad, you marry a 9-year-old. They never say that, because it's a norm in that society.
At that time,
and
even here, people were doing.
And when they married
them, yes, in a siwa.
Okay, so
like, I know it was there, but maybe that's me. I'm just saying that maybe because Muhammad did same and they are their master, they are following. He married 6. I also married 12.
No, but when
I even tried than you.
When she came, she stayed for many years before.
Before
there was, of course.
You were not there. I was not there.
No, the history books are there. The Indians still do that. At the age of 2, they get married. But there's no consummation until many years. It is part of the culture. But if you look at the Western culture, juxtapose that with today, oh, Muhammad is wrong. No, you have to look at the whole trend. Then you begin to understand
the era and what was happening.
And on and on and on. So Aisha said, when Muhammad married me, I never had time. She's the only one that never get married. I mean, had a child. He's always busy. He's never here. He married because to establish bond with her father, who is his close friend. And he married a Jew, and a Safiya. And then he married a Christian, Maryam, to establish a bond.
Muhammad,
yeah, he married.
Muhammad was enjoying.
Married to marry a Kipti. So all this in marriage was to establish peace, to not create war. Okay. And then he married the wife of his own companions who passed away during war, so that they wouldn't become liability. That is not to say he's all about this and that. No, it's just a pity marriage. But history, people don't read, and they begin to say, oh, he married this and that. But you look at the whole trend. So
the married they should, but they should not do the younger age. They should allow the women to go to school. Is that what you were saying?
Oh yeah, let them go to school because he said educate your daughters from the day they were born until the time that they go to their grave. That means there is no limit in education, which, with all due respect, I acknowledge in most of the Islamic community, which also is culture. It's a culture trend that crept into this, but Islam did not teach that.
Islam did not teach that. You are watching the biggest and the largest. My last thing, because of what you are coming to teach, Islam and modern science.
Right.
That's why I'm coming to ask this question.
Okay.
You are an African. You are in America. You know the weather.
Yes, ma'am.
And you read a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
I am schooling in Turkey, so I know what's going on there. Yeah. They've made a law that nobody should force anybody to put a hijab on the head as a woman. So now, if you want to put hijab, even if you put it to your head to school, they will arrest you. Okay? Here, my problem is this. And not a problem, my question.
Yeah.
Look at our weather.
Right.
You were endowed. You know fabrics are frequency.
Yes, I know.
So our weather and our women and this hijab, long hijab,
right,
that is covering their ears.
Long one.
All the way down.
Right.
How do you feel? What do you have to say about this? Please, my opinion, can they take it away from them so they can be free? Sickness.
Yeah.
They are neurons.
Right.
With nylon and this heat. Papa, bring it to modernization. What will you do about this for me?
That's a beautiful question, by the way. What I would say on this is that, number one, putting that hijab, it happened at the time of Muhammad, and God Almighty sent a revelation. Oh, Muhammad, tell the believing women to cover themselves if they go to abroad, so that those who are not Muslim, the unbelievers back then, so that they would not attack them. So this is to differentiate. Most of the Arabic women back then, the pre-Islam, before Islam, they walk naked. They don't dress. They're very scanty. They were used, abused, and discarded at will. So Islam came to change them. Put on some clothes. So let God in the Revelation, Surah An-Nur, the chapter of light, tells the believing women to put on a clothing to cover themselves and then to expose the part that is necessary, like your hand, like your feet, you know, where you could see. Oh, that is where it started. But then again, if you look at all the prophets, if you look at Elizabeth, you look at Mary, you look at Jehoshaphat, you look at all of them, they were dressing the same thing. All the Middle Eastern. Jesus Christ dressed like this, and then Mary like that. So this is hot. It's like minus, what, 120 degrees Celsius? Very, very hot. But they were dressed like that. That is their culture. What Islam say, let them cover themselves. It doesn't actually mean to put on the one that you see them dressing. Even our yard, Adinkra, you can use that. You don't have to necessarily put the same thing that the Arabs women are putting. As long as your body will be covered, you don't have to wear tight clothing, loose, like the way you dress. It's loose so that nobody will see your contour. That's what Islam is all about. Because once the contour is being seen, then, oh my God, what's up, baby, what's going on? That kind of stuff. Islam is trying to cut it away by giving the women respect. So these are the reasons why we have to put on. But if you put on your dress like the Hausa people dress with their, you know, the dress, atampa, they sew up and down, and then they go their mayafi, that's okay because you are already dressed the hijab. Hijab means to protect you from onslaught, from the bad eye, people looking from this and that. Just wear something that will, that's what it means.
So
it doesn't actually need to wear
what can we do? It bothers me. They will be in the sun.
Right. Some
are carrying things.
Right.
Some are selling cocoa wache, busy in the market in the heat with the nylon. You are bringing modernization. You are explaining. What can you do?
Islam doesn't want to separate itself and follow, you know, the trend, just like dress, just like anybody else. Islam want to preserve that culture of protecting the women from revealing the body,
and
which is
block their neurons. Is that it?
Well, science have also proven that there are certain mega ray, ultraviolet ray, you know, microwave ray that, you know, if you are in the desert most of the time, it protects your body. So a woman that put on hijab back then in the desert, if they take off their clothes, which I cannot see, but you could see that the body is so very different. It doesn't get all this ultraviolet, this and that and this and that.
In this heat.
Oh yeah, they are used to it. You are thinking, oh man.
I'm saying that when you go to America, you are in America. This thing, unless maybe talking about it is difficult, let's just leave it.
No, it's
not.
Because
no, let's leave it because you are in America.
Right.
How many times do you see people going to the mosque to go and pray? The things the weather will force you to wear the trouser. You don't want us to wear. So the point I'm trying to make is that we should wear the nylon hijab when we are in America because of the weather. It gives you a beautiful skin and beautiful hair.
Oh, they wear hijab in America. More than you think.
I'm not saying they don't wear it. I'm saying it's good because of the weather there.
And you want
here, the heat.
What should they wear? What should they wear?
I'm not saying that me, myself, I don't expose myself from my 2,000 videos. You see me dressed like that. Yes, properly.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that we are in a hot weather. The reason here we do cotton fabrics and all that, and you as a well-endowed somebody, you know that here wool, linen, and then and cotton stuff. Need this nylon in the heat. Let's leave it because I feel it's difficult for you.
But they take their
maybe money, a time will come.
They take their money and go to the shop willingly and buy it.
Because the religion is mandatory for you to dress.
They feel comfortable
like that.
They don't want, you know, they
will feel comfortable.
They're happy to do that.
They would do that because it's mandatory. They've come to meet it. You have to do it.
No, if you don't do it, nobody will catch you.
Oh no, it's not to me. I have in total Muslims. They are daughters. They tie their hair. They have a way of tying their hair. Me, I have a friend who wanted to marry me. One big Muslim. I have to dance like me. I will wear.
And he want you to put on that.
Not the nylon. They themselves, you know, you have classes. Cotton. You know you have classes in that thing. You know.
Yeah.
Me, I'm talking about my people of my level. Yeah, if you could say buy, you don't want to do anything for us. One day somebody will speak for us.
Somebody will speak for us.
Me, if I have any authority, I'm not saying they should dress rough. Right. Everybody following my platform know how I dress. I am always covered fully. That one day I understand.
Yeah.
But the nylon in the heat with the years, the neurons,
it's
like it's like drinking cyanide. But if you, one day I know you will get you know. Why am I even worrying myself? You are watching the biggest. His topic is big, but he has knowledge. So I'm trying to understand this. He just doesn't want to talk about it.
I don't want to open up.
You don't want to. He's confessed. So let's leave it.
No, I'm saying.
Me, I like truthfulness. He doesn't want to open up. So they should block their neurons and go. And that's their wahala. They are also wearing the chair. Yes, your materials in the heat. If you should marry me, you will remove it. They said they are going to do morning prayer, so they won't give you sex. That's 4 o'clock. And Kasoro no unko. And do what here. Say do what say keep. I have told you people that Muslims have principles than the other. Me, I'm always honest. So if I should choose, they have their marriage, they have their principle. These people have
become Amalia.
And so I will go there. But let's leave it. His topic is big and very important to me. Right. Islam and modern science.
Right.
You see the minutes, 34 minutes for randoms.
Okay.
So I'm going to give him all the time to treat Islam and modern science. I welcome you once again to the greatest platform. I'm your greatest G. I'm always the biggest. La Braska the sound goddess. Maybe say Nyame question. Maybe say Allah question. Maybe say Muhammad question. Maybe say Jesus question. Everybody will answer question. And I'm asking Papa questions. And he will answer questions. One day, or say he doesn't want to open up. I have forgiven him because I love him. But Islam and modern science.
Yes, ma'am.
Islam, we have had people to translate the word Islam to us, but you can still translate or define the word Islam, define the word modern, and define the word science. Okay. So we will understand these words before you put them together and treat them as a topic.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah, first of all, Islam, basically it means submission. Coming from one Arabic word, is 3 actually vowel words. ISL, Islam, or Silm. It means to surrender. So Islam, in retrospect, it means total submission to the will of God. That means you have nothing to do except the God who created you, who know you very well, to send you a revelation and to live within the pages of that, revelation that is sent to you. So once you believe in that and you believe Muhammad is the messenger of God, sent by God Almighty with the Quran, that means you submit your will to the will of God. You have absolutely surrendered your will to that of God and you follow the Quran. Once you follow Muhammad, that means you follow all the messengers. So that is Islam. Islam and what? Modern?
Modern and science.
The word modern is something new or something that advancement have brought about. Something that those who were not here 50, 20 years ago, when they come back, they will see is something different. So it becomes modern to us because it is inconsistent with the time that we live in. It becomes modern. And when it comes to science, science is a self-repairing enterprise. Science is discarding certain principles and getting a new hypothesis. Science is, research, empirical evidence prove that this have been hypothesized and then it has been observed and eventually it has been verified. So it becomes part of science. Science is knowledge, is seeking. Science is out there to make us understand the mechanism of natural world that we are. So it has to keep us going by doing more research, whatever. If that research is consistent with what we are thinking, then it becomes established science. So in a nutshell, that's what it actually means.
Great. So the topic is Islam and modern science.
Yes, ma'am.
Please take us through.
Islam and modern science. Yes, Islam is in modern science. Islam was revealed in Mecca in the year 560, in the era of the Jahiliyyah, which is the time of ignorance. But when Muhammad came, it became the light age. It used to be called, Mecca used to be called, a backward age, Jahiliyyah. But when Islam came with the Quran, it became a light age because the Quran is here to throw light to things. And in the Quran, Allah said, وَلَكَ الصَّرَفْنَا فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلنَّاسِ مِنْ كُلِّ مَثَلٍ. Indeed, we, God Almighty, we have explained everything that you need to know in this Quran. Then the Quran also said, إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَلَتَعْلَمُنَّ نَبَأَهُ بَعْدَ. This Quran is for the whole of mankind. But as time goes on, mankind will come to understand the implication of the Quranic truth. So from there, we begin to understand that God Almighty said the Quran, things have been explained. And I'm giving you, there is a man in America, he's there already. He's one of the best, science when it comes to the modern science. He's written about 71 books. I'm going to remember his name. I always forget the name, but it's going to come. He wrote so many books, but 3 of the books became so prominent. Billions and Billions, The Brooker's Mind, and Cosmics. These books are the book of science. It has been translated to many, many languages. In fact, for that piece of work that he did in terms of modern science, he was given, a plaque that shows that he is supreme when it comes to science. And all scientists today build their case in terms of advancement on his books. Now, he mentioned that 20 billion years ago, there was no heaven, there was no earth, there was no Jupiter, no Neptune, no Mars. None of this established solar system existed. Nothing existed except 3 elements: hydrogen, helium, and huge amount of dust. That is what we call interstellar galactic material. It bind together 20 billion years ago, and in the central core of that mechanism, heat, radiation, boom, it blasted. Science called that the Big Bang. 20 years ago, it blasted. But the beauty of it is that 20 billion years ago, he's telling us that boom is still being felt as we sit here right now. That recension, boom, is being explained. And he explained it. He said, to know that, get a stagnant water, get a stone, throw it inside. The ripple effects, that shows that it is expanding. Or he said, get a balloon, before you blow the balloon, put it down, get a pen, make a dotlet all around it, turn around, do the same thing. Now begin to blow it. As you blow, you will see the dotlets, they are moving away. That is how he explained the Big Bang. That means it is still expanding. And that expansion, it is the fastest movement that we can ever record in modern science. It's 186.3 thousand miles per second. That is how fast, boom, is still going on, the ascension. This man was given so many cash present. He went to Yale, Cambridge, Oxford, and he gave lectures on the hypothesis, and they clapped for him. He's all over the place. And then we told him, look, man, this information that you've just brought about through painstaking research is in the Quran. He said, man, what are you talking about? In the Quran, a book that came over 1,400 years ago in the desert, far from any civilization. How could that be? We say, it's there. Now, you tell me, how did Muhammad knew this thing? Now, look at what the Quran said. I'm not going to read in Arabic just to make time easy. The Quran said, do not the unbelievers see that the heaven and earth were joined together at one point? Then we separate them asunder, and we made from water every living thing. Wouldn't they then believe? Now we know today, from the common origin of science, it used to be the 3 elements bind together, and then it spew. The Quran said, do they not see? How do they see? With their telescope, they go to the space. Haven't they seen that the 3 elements were bound together? Then we separate them. And then he said, we made from water every living thing, which is part of biology. We know also today that protoplasm is the basis of aquatic measure that brought about life. Life came from water. And the Quran said, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. We made from water every living thing. Who? How could the messenger in the desert, far from any knowledge, be able to tell us today, which modernity knew all these things through painstaking research, that the universe used to be, bind together, and then it blasted, and then, life came from water. How could Muhammad knew all these things? So these are some of the things that we show mankind. In fact, when they took it to, MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in Boston, we showed them the model of the, the Quranic word. They said, who told Muhammad? I said, I don't know. You tell me. Looking at the era that he came from, there was nothing like pen, nothing. How did he know all these things? It's got to be an inspiration that was revealed unto him. And today we are seeing that. And the Quran confirmed that by saying, وَيَرَى الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ الَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ هُوَ الْحَقُّ. What it's saying is that those with knowledge, O Muhammad, they will come in future, eventually, to prove that you are on the right track and that it is God Almighty who sent you. And today, scientists are proving on and on and on and on and on. These are some of the models that I give these lectures in the United States. I get invited to go to colleges, universities. I went to Oxford, as a matter of fact, 8 months ago, and I deliver the same, modern. So what I do when I go is say, look, give me any science that you can think of, give me, that you have come about, give me. And I'm going to give you that in the Quran at one point. So that tells you that the Quran is actually in concert with modernity. The Quran doesn't throw away science. Many belief systems back in the days, they say if you learn and read, you're going to be beaten up. The time of St. Augustine, if you are reading the Bible more and more, you want to read on your own, they say no, because Adam, as a result of knowledge, he sinned. So they discouraged learning. When the Muslims were bubbling with information, they opened a center in Baghdad called Darul Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, where Indians, everywhere, they come there. Because at that time, the Arabic language was the lingua franca of technology. We discovered mathematics, algebra. Algebra in Arabic, it means that which you can, like you say, what is this? No, it's here. No. Algebra. It became algebra. Falsafa, philosophy.
They just
change it.
Creating my own English.
So
coronavirus, typhoid, blood pressure, that's science, isn't it?
A lot of them.
Give us some. 8.
I give you one of the mysteries. I give you one of the mysteries.
HIV, coronavirus, whooping cough, yellow fever.
It was. There is a book called Tibun Nabawi. Tib means the medicine of the prophets. His advice that he gave. He said the world would never get to an end except mankind will enter into illicit sex up to the point that they will be doing it in public. Then God Almighty will send them a disease that will destroy them and they would not have, cure. So now you tell me, as I'm speaking, that you know that's AIDS. He said the world will enter in this situation because mankind will become like animals. Sexual intercourse and its innuendo will be prevalent.
Who created the orgasm and the feelings?
God Almighty.
And so what did he wanted us to do with it?
No, but you have to do it.
Fry cocoa.
No, do it. Do it at the right time.
What is the right time?
In a more confined.
Which is what?
Religiously taught. The Bible explained that beautifully. In the book of. It explained a man and woman how they should do this and that.
You are doing 4 people. 4. Religiously, somebody is also marrying and divorcing. Well, what is religiously about
there's
this?
Just so many women today.
So if you don't
more
do
than the men, there is wisdom behind that. It is not just like, okay, go and marry. You can. Many people don't have one wife. It is just there, like you take a tablet.
So it's just like that because the women are many.
No, that is another way of solving the societal problem. Otherwise, they're going to do what? Go and sleep with and then they're going to be prevalent of sex.
What kind of societal problem were they solving? Is it not the same thing you accuse our ancestors for doing? The reason they know that we started the slave trade. They were marrying multiples to get plenty people to use them for farms.
Right.
You people are doing the same thing.
No, maybe people use certain things on the wrong platform, on the wrong way, but there is a right way to use it. There's a right way to use it.
Oh, that's okay then. You are watching the biggest and the largest. We say on catch is the coronavirus. That is your science. They say algebra will corona anymore.
Yes.
HIV in him. Coronavirus in him. Should I not ask? You are watching the biggest and the largest. So, Papa, since Islam and modern science is what you are handling,
yes,
what kind of things do you feel like Islam should take away or should at least restructure it a bit?
Right.
If I say take away, it will be too hard. But let's say like things that you feel you do in Islam that you think you can add modern science to weight or to, upgrade it. The ones you've said they don't know. Right. What and what would you say? 5 things.
I think first of all, education is a weapon of liberation. Once you have education, you would walk upright anyway. You don't fear anything, But then again, we have a lot of insecurities. This is a fact of life. It's a fact also within our community, the Muslim community. They are the one that's supposed to be having all this knowledge because the Quran mentioned a lot about reading and writing and becoming intellectual, this and that. When in fact the Muslim at the very beginning, we were leaders of the world. The Europeans have to come. We forced Europe to go into Renaissance. At that time, the Europeans don't know nothing. They have to come to the Arab world to learn. And that's why you have a lot of things that you see today is Arabic word, but then nobody knows. We have to come out and explain. So the Muslims have stopped for some reason. I don't know. So I think they should go back into study. Once they know they are right, what the Quran have said actually, then they will say, okay, this thing we're doing is wrong. This is what the Quran said. And so I think we should go back and reclaim whatever that is that we need to reclaim.
In terms of knowledge.
That is knowledge is very, very powerful.
That is one.
And then number 2, I think the Islamic religion should be understood that it is not for Hausa community. Many people say, oh, this is Hausa religion. People think it's Hausa. People think it's Nima religion. People think it's...
Why are people thinking like that?
It's Sabon Zongo.
Why are people
because the moment
like
they say, Ubaye Kramo, then that means, okay, that means he's going to Hausa. Or he's going to Zongo. They forgot that it is not for Zongo at all.
But the Zongo is for who?
The Zongo is just a community of different faith. I mean, different, tribes. But then most of them may be subscribed to Islamic religion. So people see them as, once you go to Zongo, that means you are going to Ubaye Kramo, that means you are becoming a Hausa man. But it's not the case. Indonesia, the largest populated nation on the face of the earth, there are Muslims. They dwarf everybody. Nigeria in West Africa, fine. But if you go to Indonesia, everybody's a Muslim, almost. Nigeria, it's a large community, and on. Just like if you go to, Brazil, you see a lot of Catholics. You go to here, you see. So it's the same thing. So Islam is not for the Hausa people. I want people to take it out of their mind. It's a religion that is like Christianity. It is across the board. So far we have 1.9 according to Reader's Digest 2022. Readers Digest information that with empirical evidence in survey research, they say we have 1.9 billion Muslims on the face of the earth. So how could this be? How many Muslims in Ghana here? So Islam is not for the Hausa people.
Okay, that one maybe we can say people think that way because you and I know they really accepted Islam.
They were the first. They brought Islam here.
Yeah, so maybe that is the idea. Maybe they want to be like they are the ye founders, the descendants. Okay, fine. Maybe
that would be fine.
Maybe that's why.
But they think so. But to think that Hausa people religion.
But maybe that's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to remove that misconception.
There's a smoke in anything.
That's misconception.
So maybe because of anyways, it's also fine.
Right.
So that is two.
Yeah. What else? The question is, what would I take away?
Not taking away, like the things that you feel they should.
That need to be added up.
They need to understand it in the modern scientific way.
So you want me to bring science in this one?
Yes.
Okay.
5 things. You've said 2, so 3 more.
So 3 more. Now let me give you one of the sciences that I think, like under our skin. You see this skin here, the demi. This is the demi. Under our skin, there is a white linen. It's a white. If you cut your skin, I'm not saying go cut your skin. I'm just saying if you hurt yourself, under the skin there is a white linen, but under that white linen is something called receptor. Each and every human being have 4 million receptors under our skin. That is what causes us to feel the pain. It's hot. It's cold. It's sour. Oh, it's sweet. Under our tongue, there's something called taste bud. It gives us the changes as we feel hot water, cold water, this and that, and this and that. So this thing was known less than 65 years. In Sweden, by a Swedish scientist, through dissecting animals and studies, so you understand that we have a receptor. That is what caused the changes in our body. Now, he was given also a Nobel Prize. When this information, again, is in the Quran over 1,443 years ago, Allah made a statement in the Quran. Allah said, let me just put the Arabic side.
No, say it. So your people will understand that.
So some don't understand English. Yes. So the Quran said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِآيَاتِنَا سَوْفَ نُسْلِيهِمْ نَارًا كُلَّمَا نَلِجَ جُلُودُهُمْ بَدَّلْنَاهُمْ جُلُودًا غَيْرَهَا لِيَذُوقُوا الْعَذَابَ. He said, those who reject our sign, those who reject our revelation, those who reject our Quran, we shall eventually put them into hellfire for being strong-headed. Then God says something. Kullama nalija juluduhum. As often as they burn and roast in the fire, God said that's where the signs come. We will change their skin. If the skin is burned and roasted, baddalnahum juludan, we will change their skin. Why? Liyazukul azaba, so that they will keep on feeling the pain. If it burns, we will change it. That means there is something under your skin that is causing the pain. Otherwise, God is not going to change it. Kullama nalijat baddalnahum juluda. We keep on changing their skin if the skin is burning. So now we come to know that, okay, the burning sensation actually came from the melanin, which is under the receptor, which each and every one of us have 4 million receptors. So how could Muhammad know, for him to write in the Quran that, the pain that you sustain in your body come as a result of the heat or the cold or the changing of body? All these things is very, very important. And then we have the 7. Let me add this one. Can I go ahead? The 7 heaven. The Bible said the heaven is 7. No problem. The book of Job mentioned that. The book of Maccabees mention that. The Bible is replete. The Quran also says the same thing. 7 heaven, 7 heaven. We all know it's 7 heaven. The heaven is 7. Scientists today, there is Dr. Botts, who specializes on atmospheric structure. He said the earth is not just 7. It's divided in 7 different layers. But he said one thing that makes me so wow. What he said was that's like 15 years research ago that research came. He said each and every heaven, the 7 stacked heavens, each and every heaven have its own attribute for the benefit of mankind. And then he gave us the name. The first heaven is called troposphere, stratosphere, ozonosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. What it means is that he said ozonosphere is the ozone layer. That is where the bad fragmentation of the sun radiation, once it comes here to destroy mankind, once it reaches ozone layer, God will send the bad radiation back and allow the good ones to come in. So ozone layer is the level that distinct between the good and the bad radiation. And then we have the thermosphere. Thermosphere is the level that sends back acoustic. Like today, I know very well because I live in the States. And before the US go to the NASA, this company, ATM, the telephone companies, they do pay them a certain amount. If you go there, please, 10 our satellite to be very close, this and that. The more it gets very close to the earth, the more money you pay, and the more it becomes good service. But if you don't have too much money, it goes in the back. So there is a receptor that our telephone subscribers put to make it ring. So now, if I dial your phone right now, once I dial the phone, it begins to ring. No, it goes to thermosphere because that's where the satellite is. The moment I dial your number, within 1,000 of a second, it is up there. Then that will pinpoint your location and your phone begin to ring. But generally we think it just ring. No, it goes to thermosphere. So now he mentioned all these things. And then we have different layers. The Quran mentioned all these things. Allahu allazi halaka sab'a as-samawat wa min al-ard mithlahunna is God Almighty who created the 7 heavens above each other, and of the earth the same number. But the attribute of each and every heaven is given also in the Quran long before these scientists knew. And that is the Quran chapter 41, where God Almighty said, it is God Almighty who created the heaven and earth in 2 periods, in two epoch and 7 epoch. And then he give each and every heaven its mandate. That means each and every heaven have a duty to perform. That is the mandate. So the question is, how could the Messenger Muhammad knew that the heaven that is 7 above each and every one have the special duty for mankind? We don't know. How did he know? There's no one to teach him there in the desert, far from civilization, never gone to school, who could not read and write. And that's what makes another French scientist, Maurice Bucaille, in his book, The Beginning of Man. And he wrote another book, The Bible, the Quran, and Science. In that book, he said, Maurice Bucaille, and I'm quoting what he said. He said, the Quran have presented a genuine challenge to mankind, leaving only one alternative, that this Quran must be from God. Because the knowledge in the Quran is nowhere to be found in the 7th century. So the question is, how could the messenger be able to fathom this? So when he was asked, he said, how did Muhammad know? He said, I believe that Muhammad, Moses, Jesus, Isaiah, Jeremiah, they came from the same school, meaning God Almighty taught them. So these are some of the information that we need people to understand and to come grip with the Quran.
We are watching the biggest, and we are discussing Islam and modern science with Sheikh Mohammed AWAL. So, Papa, our time is close, but I will ask you one question.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when we are done, you put all these things together and address your people, okay. And then you give them your last words and add your social media handles and all to it. Okay. But I want to ask this before we go. Will you people go to heaven?
What do you mean?
Will you go to heaven?
Myself?
Islam,
or just
the Muslims?
The Muslim community. Okay, the Muslim community, we're looking forward to go to heaven.
What is the concept like? We've had somebody here on this set,
right,
who told us that here you don't drink alcohol.
Right.
Because alcohol here will make you misbehave.
Right.
But in heaven, there are 3 major drinks there. Ordinary water, milk, and honey. He said milk, honey, and then alcohol.
Right.
The heaven alcohol, when you drink, you can fly, and when you are landing, you land on top of a woman.
Who said that?
I have that record. You're one of your people. So I want to know your concept of heaven.
Well, heaven
Will you
is...
go and marry 72 virgins like them? Like, tell us.
The Quran didn't mention, that's the thing, the Quran never mentioned that if you go to heaven, we'll give you 72. It's not in the Quran. It is not in the Quran. Absolutely. From cover to cover. It's not in the Quran. I was in England, Hyde Park. They did that. You know, in Hyde Park, people go there for different religions. I was asking, I said, look, please, if you can show me where in the Quran it is said, if you go to heaven, we'll give you 72 virgins. Please, this is my neck. Chop it off. Show me, and I'm ready to surrender. It's not there. It is the interpretation of the Hadith. The Hadith is the word of the messenger. That the Quran didn't mention 72 wives at all. From cover to cover.
Oh.
It is not there. I'm speaking to the world. Please, if there is a verse in the Quran that says if you go to heaven, we get 72 wives, I want to see that. It is not there. It is the interpretation of the messenger Muhammad that those who didn't spend all their life womanizing. God Almighty, He know what we want. The men, we want money, we want children, we want cars, we want women, we want this and that. So God is baiting us. If you go to heaven, those who do good and pass the criteria that God have established in Islam, you do the right thing, you don't drink, you don't do this and that, God will give you, women in heaven. It could be from 70 to 72. So whatever you can do. So somebody asked the messenger, okay, 72, but even one I can't handle. He said, God will give you the power to even go for 1,000 women. Because in the Quran, Allah says, فَآلٌ لِمَا يُرِيد. I am the doer of whatever I can do. God could do anything.
So he was just telling them the possibilities.
The possibilities.
And they have taken it to heart.
It's not so.
Hey!
Wallahi, my sister, it's not so. It's not in the Quran. It's not. Ask him to show you the verse.
But what about the alcohol?
The alcohol. Yes, the alcohol is one of the most dangerous. It's one of the, abhorrent things.
The one in heaven. The one in heaven that makes you people land on top of women.
I don't know where he get that. Whoever make those statements. How are you going to land on women for what? But the point is, you have a lot of women. Maybe you have more, maybe 72 wives. So maybe if you fall, chances are that you might.
Because the place is full of women. It makes sense. You are.
You see what I mean? Chances are that you might land on one of them. But
let me ask the last one. Do you do what? Oh, the one you wash your hands. You call it
ablution.
Do you do ablution?
Before I pray, yes.
How many times do you do it?
I pray 5 times a day. So
you observe 5 pillars of Islam?
Absolutely, 100%.
Have you heard about have you heard about a young man called Shuaib? He's been on my platform. He said a lot of things you observe in Islam is abosumsum.
Shuaib?
Yes.
Okay.
I hope I've gotten the name right. Yes, Shuaib.
He said, what we're doing is
the things you observing 5 times prayer a day, going to Mecca and all that.
What?
What is what?
This is it's not in the Quran. Where did he get that from? You should have asked him. Did he give you verses and quotation? Because I'm dealing with numbers, empirical evidence, not just saying and run away. You have to give evidence.
How I wish I can play the video so you can explain this to us. I don't want to misquote anybody's words, and I'm not getting it straight.
It's very, very
but
important.
I learned, he said, he was so sure.
I know we have different people who were saying certain things about Islam, that you're doing this, you don't have to even go to Hajj, you don't even have to fast 30 days and this and that. You know, that person knows more than Muhammad. He knows more than all these scholars of Islam for over 1,400 years. And today you come in here, you sitting here in telling me that what I've been doing is absolutely wrong. And that the Quran didn't say that. Whatever I'm using, I look at the Quran and I do. And I've never had any problem at all. So I don't know where people
Let's leave it. Because me, the 72, just ayaka. Like that. How? And the alcohol too.
And the alcohol, yes, if you don't drink here, God Almighty said, if you don't drink here, definitely in the day of judgment, you will have an alcohol that you're going to drink it. You're not going to get booze and do things that you do here, but it's going to be a different one.
Yes, what were we discussing? Islam and modern science. Papa, we are have come to the end of the show, but in 3 minutes,
right,
this is your topic.
right.
Put it together and send a message to your people.
Mashallah.
Those who you are teaching people means
right.
there are things you are adding.
Right.
So the message you have for them,
all right.
in 3 minutes you are going to do all this. Put them together. Those you have to send message to, send it to them. Right. And when you are done, add all your social media platforms.
Right.
To wait, and
right.
then your last words for Ghanaians in 3 minutes. Put
right.
all this together.
Thank you very much for giving me this platform. I'm so elated. My sister here, she's very wonderful. She asked relevant questions that are so pertinent for today to be explained, and she did the best that she can, and I know you're going to enjoy it, or you have enjoyed it, those of you who are. Okay, first of all, you know, when we talk about Islam and science, or Quran and modern science, what we're trying to say is that the Quran is not a religion that is being outdated, or a religion that is meant for the 7th century Arabia. It is meant for the whole of mankind. So if science today are saying certain things, or they are doing certain things which we believe in them, then definitely the Quran also mentioned that. So now that tells you that Islam is for the whole mankind, is for the whole, you know, it's just a knowledge. It's just a package. So don't limit yourself. You know, if somebody tells you something about the Quran, about the Hadith, please go and do your research. Research is very, very important, because the Quran said, don't you analyze, don't you see, don't you look, don't you ask questions. The Quran is giving you, you know, it's waking you up. Don't just listen to this man and say, okay, that's the only person I'm going to listen. Whatever this guy said, I'm not going to believe. No, look at both sides, analyze it. If it makes sense, at par with the Quran, take it. If it is not, then you leave it aside. I think that should be the path of wisdom. That's number one. And number two, I would like each and every Muslim and men and women to get to the Quran. Don't depend on somebody's interpretation. The Quran is there in Hausa, in Fanti, in Ashanti, in Tamale, Dagban, in different languages. You could get it and read it also. If you have any difficulties understanding, we have a lot of scholars. Go there, let them explain to you, then you would understand. Because the more you ask questions, the more you know. You know, the question actually gives you more, you know, understanding of whatever thing that you want to know. I think you should do that, and, you know, don't be like a fish in a small little bowl. You have to have your perspective, you know, spectrum, open it wide, so that you would get the best of knowledge that you need. And number one, I'm going to give you my, you know, social media handling. I know say you want to see Sheikh Mohammed AWAL. Just go on YouTube. If you go to on YouTube, just dial Sheikh Mohammed AWAL. I have over 3,000 different videos out there. And if you go on Facebook, I'm always on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. Again, Sheikh M. AWAL. Sheikh M. AWAL, all joined together. You will find my programs. I'm there. I'm giving lectures, or I'm presenting, or I'm doing sort of thing. And then you go to TikTok, the same thing. Sheikh M. AWAL. Again, you will find my programs there. And please go and get it. You know, listen to it and share it, and let's all, you know, disseminate the knowledge that we need to disseminate. Thank you very much for watching.
Abba, have you been to Mecca already?
Many times.
Many times. So
yes,
we are Alhaji.
Yeah, Alhaji is the one who made that.
A stranger.
A stranger. Yeah, a stranger.
So you were a stranger.
I'm a stranger.
A stranger. Okay.
Hey, you seem to know a lot about Islam.
I don't know anything.
No, you do.
Ah.
Yeah, you do.
Papa, thank you so much for coming. I hope you'll be in Ghana for some time before you leave, so we can get you one more on live,
yes,
so
please,
people
no
can
problem.
Call in and ask you their questions. You are in Cape Coast.
But I do come to Accra every week.
Okay, no problem. So, Abusia, I'm voting in life. No, na mimbisano. Me what 3 other questions. Be eshem to me na mimbisano. Na afe ono so on explaining nyama. Ma me po bi na me na discuss how omo da so is Muslim no omo da so see omo dan the top no round. Nanka sorry dan so omo see no round. Na me pese me bisa na how dan no say ye jai round na ye be see square no. What are they trapping, and why are they doing the top round? This is very deep here. I need somebody who is well endowed to discuss this with. It's not that I don't know, but sometimes when you have a conversation with somebody, it's so beautiful. So vote to the life. No, but Minfa then started with me on answer those kind of questions for me. The social media handles no so, and now that one you can to maybe some questions be brave, especially the Muslims. You should go there. But I'm leaving this for you. The nylon is really...
It's hard.
hot for me, and I'm thinking about my sisters.
Okay, I'm going to bring, the next time I come, I'll bring you one.
Huh?
Yes, I promise. If I'm coming back here, I'm going to bring you one.
To where?
No, it's not, it's like stylish, you know, nice.
You are coming to block my neurons.
No, I'm not. the way you dress, I have something just like that.
Oh, you bring it. Let's
I'll
see.
bring it. It's a promise. I'm going to bring it if I come back.
Whether I will put you into trouble or not. I mean, Ghana, you are bringing me like law.
I'll bring you. I want you to try it and see.
That's okay. Me, I wear anything, but
okay.
if it's top notch, I wear it.
Okay,
yeah.
good. All right.
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. I respect you, and I am so grateful for your knowledge. You are up there, but put impact in this. Open up.
We'll do that.
And bring some change the Lylon from the Ebushia. Vote him live. All kinds of questions. Thank you so much for watching the biggest and the largest. I'm always your greatest G, Labraska, African's only sun goddess. When you worship the sun god and Muhammad, worship me too. Shalom. Peace.